So Jack Posobiec is a right-wing commentator, and he's one of the biggest spreaders of absolute bullshit on a daily basis. He's snuggled up close to the Trump administration and Elon and all these people. And at CPAC, he gave a speech here. And look, what is there to say about this other than they are no longer hiding it? They're done playing the game. They're done masking their real beliefs and hiding behind humor as they used to do. Oh, we're just joking, bro. Pfft, liberal snowflakes, we're just joking, bro. Relax, bro. Now that's all gone. Now they are high on their own supply. Trump is in there. Elon's illegally deleting government programs and slashing research for children with cancer and going after the anti-scam police, and Trump's threatening imperialism abroad, going to steal Gaza, going to take Greenland, Panama, all this stuff, right? So Jack Posobiec goes and gives a speech at CPAC. Now, again, I just want to point out real quick, for anybody who is actually principled in MAGA, right? The second Trump started talking about making Canada our 51st state, stealing Panama, stealing Greenland, war with Mexico, war with Iran, we're going to take Gaza, we're going to own it, we're going to build hotels on the beach. Anybody who was principled with America first, they would have hopped off the Trump train like that. It would have been just, I'm done here. Because, you hear this all the time. Oh, why are we sending money to Ukraine when we got natural disasters destroying people here, bro? Help out Americans first, bro. This is what you heard all the time under Biden, right? Now, Biden, by the way, did do an emergency declaration right away when Western North Carolina got wiped off the map because of a hurricane. Donald Trump is still he still hasn't signed a disaster declaration for West Virginia, even though they dealt with flooding a long time ago. They've been begging for a disaster declaration and to get some FEMA funds in there. Trump's refused to sign it. He's actually not helping the people of even deep red states. He's not helping them. He's refusing. In fact, he came out the other day and said, we think FEMA should be abolished. We want to leave it to the states. So again, if you're principled in MAGA, if you actually believed in any of it and you weren't just in a fascist cult, you would have said, you know what, I'm out. We shouldn't steal Greenland. We shouldn't make Canada the 51st state. These are all things. Wait, you never said anything about this on the campaign trail. Not once. You never said we're going to take Panama. You never said we're going to own Gaza. You never said we're going to make Canada the 51st state. We're going to, the Mexico thing you did mention. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but you'd be gone if you were in MAGA and you were principled America first. Well, as I said, it's a fascist cult. So they go where the leader wants them to go. Here's Jack Posobiec. Any reasonable doubt, any plausible deniability is so far gone when you watch this clip about what their agenda is. Here we go.
Donald Trump is not violating the Constitution. Donald Trump is restoring the American Constitution. Donald Trump is the living embodiment of the American Constitution. Donald Trump is embodying the values of our founding fathers for the first time in a long time in Washington, D.C. President Trump came up and he found the destiny of the American people lying in the gutter. And he picked it up with his bare hands and he yelled, "Fight, fight, fight!" And the American people delivered their mandate to him and put it on his head. And as President Trump himself said just a few days ago, a man who saves his nation violates no law.
He said Trump is the living embodiment of the Constitution. This is what Trump said the other day. He was feuding with a governor. He said, I am the federal law. He's trying to make the governor do something on trans issues, and she was like, I'll follow federal and state law. And he goes, I am the federal law. And then you heard Posobiec at the end. Listen to what he says.
President Trump himself said just a few days ago, a man who saves his nation violates no law.
We're fully there. The ends justify the means. We're fully there. I am the law. I am the Constitution. What I say goes. Trump announced the other day, it's myself and the Attorney General alone that can determine what the law is. That is literally a gigantic middle finger to the courts to say, what you say doesn't matter. I don't care. If you tell me to do something and I disagree, I'm going to do what I want to do, and you can go ahead and try to stop me with your army. Oh, that's right. You don't have an army. Guys, it's here. It's here. You know what's crazy, bro? It's true. On a long enough timeline, all of the most hyperbolic voices, most hyperbolic resistance liberal anti-Trump voices have been proven correct. I mean, I already said it. Like, print out the liberal apology forms. Because the most hardcore resistance, anti-Trump, all about that life from fucking 2016. In a long enough timeline, they were right about everything. And here it is. How much more clear can they make it? Ignoring court rulings, saying I am the federal law. The White House posted a thing of Trump as king. Here he says Donald Trump is the living embodiment of the Constitution. And at the same time, they're saying this. At the same time, he's destroying the Constitution. So, for example, when it comes to free speech, Trump is suing the Des Moines Register because he didn't like a poll they released. Could you imagine if Joe Biden did that or Barack Obama did that? I'm going to sue this pollster because I don't like the results of the poll. It made the Republicans look better than me. Everybody on the right would say this is the end of the Constitution. This is the destruction of the Constitution. What are you talking about? Trump literally said when he lost the 2020 election, we need to terminate the Constitution and all rules, regulations, and articles in it to get me back in power. This is what he said. So now, everybody should call it what it is. Nobody should be surprised. This is a guy who sued over a poll he didn't like. He sued CBS for how it edited a Kamala interview. He's basically trying to get these news outlets to bribe him, right? That's what he wants. Hey, pay me money, and then maybe I'll let your mergers through, and maybe I won't crack down on you. That's what this is. This is how authoritarian governments function. He sued the book company Simon & Schuster because they released a Bob Woodward book that had a quote in it that he didn't like. It was a quote from Trump he didn't like, and said so he sued them. He's repeatedly threatened to de-license news outlets that criticize him. Repeatedly. I mean, the fact that anybody can pretend not to see it is the thing that disturbs me, right? And that's why we've said for a while now, this is a fascist cult. That's what it is. If you don't wake up, if you can't realize what it is, or if you just outright support it, okay. The dividing lines are clear. The dividing lines are clear. And then you're the enemy. You are the enemy. It's that simple, right? You're the enemy in that scenario. If you back a guy who sued CNN for $475 million because CNN called his election denialism the big lie, then you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. And so, look, they're not going to stop unless we make them stop, right? They're not going to stop unless we make them stop. And this is what we've talked about for a while now, that, I mean, you literally all day, every day, on every issue that is humanly possible, sue, right? I want the Democratic attorneys general to do their thing and sue. I want class action lawsuits against Elon Musk over the breach of data privacy, among other things. And that's only one vector of resistance. The other one is, and this one's been happening at a tremendous clip, people are calling their congresspeople like nobody's business. They are flooding these town halls with massive numbers of people. There are bodies in the streets where we have the 50-51 protests, which have happened a number of times. Massive numbers have come out. It's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get bigger because they are not going to stop with their imperialism, their colonialism, their oligarchy, their kleptocracy, their kakistocracy. They're not going to stop. And so it's on us to get out there in the streets. It's on us to fight them every way humanly possible. And leaders are needed, right? Bernie's leading, God bless him. There's some other Democrats who are leading, but we need a lot more voices. You know, Jerry Connolly's not going to cut it. Hakeem Jeffries is not going to cut it. Chuck Schumer's not going to cut it. If you're a fighter, you get to the front of the line and you start leading. But this is what we're dealing with now, right? This is what we're dealing with, and everybody needs to understand it. This is truly not a normal moment, right? This is not a let's hear both sides, let's find reasonable middle ground. No, bipartisanship is dead. It's not coming back. Until they no longer are fascist authoritarians, we're done with that. We're done with that. And everybody needs to get with the times, because what Posobiec is saying here represents the beating heart of what we're facing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.